Right, children. Now we are going to start the exercise chapter of this lesson. So as I told you all before, you have to do all the questions by yourselves first, and then you can watch the video when I am teaching this one and check whether the answers that you have done are right or not. Okay? Right. We'll first start with the exercise given in the textbook. Exercise. Fill in the blanks. Now the words are not given, therefore we have to fill in the blanks using our words, okay? The unit used to measure the temperature is. What is the unit used to measure temperatures when it comes to these atmospheric changes? That is Celsius unit, right? Celsius. Or you can even write degree Celsius as well, right? Celsius. Okay, or degree Celsius. Wind blown horizontally at a very high speed. Now, normally wind blows, we learn that the air flows from where it is high pressure to low pressure zones at a certain speed. Okay, but the speed is at very high speed. That is known as a cyclone. Okay, a cyclone. Number 3. If the arrowhead of the wind vane is pointed to north, wind blows from. Do you remember how we made the wind vane? And we use the wind vane to find the direction of the wind. Okay? So do you remember how we made that one? We used a drinking straw like this, and we made an arrowhead using cardboard and the back of the arrow as well, like this. Okay, and we balanced it on a piece of clay using a pencil. We simply draw like this. So what happens? We use the arrowhead of the wind vane to find out the direction of the wind. If the arrowhead of the wind vane is pointed to north, what happens? Now what are the directions again? North, east, south, west. This is north, this is east, south and west. Right? So if the arrowhead points towards the north, what is the direction of the wind? The wind flows from north to south. Right? So if the arrowhead of the wind vane is pointed to north, wind blows from north to south. North to south. Right, children? The unit used to measure the rainfall is, what is the unit? Millimeter. Millimeters. Okay, children? Right. The unit used to measure the temperature is Celsius, so degree Celsius. Wind blown horizontally at a very high speed is known as a cyclone. If the arrowhead of the wind vane is pointed to north, wind blows from north to south, opposite directions, okay? North to south. The unit used to measure the rainfall is millimeters. What is the symbol? Simple M, simple M. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. Number 2. What do you mean by weather? Now we know that weather and climate are two different things. Let's write what is weather. An atmospheric condition. An atmospheric condition of a specific area within a short period of time. Short period of time. Okay, children? So what do you mean by weather? It's an atmospheric condition of a specific area within a short period of time, right? Number 3. What is the difference between weather and climate? Now, when it comes to weather, we consider about a short period of time. Climate means we consider about a longer time period. Right, children? Let's write. Weather is the atmospheric condition within a short period of time. Climate is the prevailing weather in a specific area for a long time. Okay? What is the difference between weather and climate? Weather is the atmospheric condition within a short period of time. Atmospheric condition in a certain area, okay? Within a short period of time. Climate is the prevailing weather in a specific area for a long time. So the difference is the time duration. Okay, children? We'll move on to the next. Number 4. Study the table and answer the given questions. Look at this one, the table. Here given the month, June 2012. Area is Colombo, right? So look at this one, date, month of June, 1st of June, 2nd of June, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th of June, right? Maximum temperatures given here. Minimum temperatures given here, right? Rainfall given here, humidity given here, right? So how can we say that maximum and minimum temperature both in the same day? That is because we know that the temperature changes from time to time, right, children? Okay, so we have questions to answer. Answer the following questions using the information about the above 10 days. What are the days with the same maximum temperature? So we have to see the maximum temperature column. You have to find what are the days with the same maximum temperature, right? So the same maximum temperature, we'll see. The first one, 31.3 degrees Celsius. Let's see whether there are another 31. Now here we have. Right. Here we have 31.3. This is also 31.3. Another 31.3. Here also we have 31.3. Even here. All the others 31.6, 30.9, 30.7, 30.5, 31.1. They are different from each other. So what are the days with the same maximum temperature? 1st, 3rd, 5th, 8th and 9th of June. Right? 1st, 3rd, 5th. We'll write 1st, 3rd, 5th, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 8th and 9th of June. 8th and 9th of June. Okay? 1st, 3rd, 5th, 8th and 9th of June. They have the same maximum temperature, right? Number 2. What are the days with the same minimum temperature? So this time we have to go to the minimum temperature column, right? Same minimum temperature. We'll take this 27.9, can't find anywhere. 28.1, we have here as well. 28.1, here also 28.1. No more 28.1s. Here 28.2, nowhere else. 26.8 also, nowhere. 26.4, 25.2, 25.0, 26.9, 28.0. There's only once is there the temperature. So here it repeats 28.1 on 2nd and 9th of June, right? 2nd and 9th of June both have the same temperatures, 28.1 degrees Celsius, right? 2nd and 9th of June. Okay? Number 3. What is the day with the least maximum temperature, the lowest maximum temperature? We'll go see the least maximum temperature. So here they all among 30s, okay, maximum temperature. The minimum one we have to find. 31, 31, 31, here 30.9, here 30.7, here 30.5. So 30.5 is the lowest one. Okay, so it is on the 7th of June. 7th of June. Right? What is the day with the least minimum temperature? Let's go see. Minimum temperature, the lowest one we have to find. 27, 28, 28, 26, 26, 25, 25, 26, 28, 28. 25 are the least. So here we have 225. This one 25.0, 25.2. This is less than here. Therefore, the least, the lowest minimum temperature is again the 7th, the same day. Okay? 7th of June. 7th of June. Right? What is the day with the maximum rainfall? Maximum rainfall. Let's see here, rainfall column is there. What is the maximum rainfall? Here 0, no rainfall. Here also no rainfall. 2.29 millimeters, 0.25 millimeters, 1.29 millimeters, 22.35 millimeters, 0.25 millimeters, right? So this is the highest. Here the question asks, what is the day with the maximum rainfall, right? So here it's this days, again the 7th of June. So we can assume that here the temperatures are the lowest, that is because it's raining, must be the reason. Okay? So the day is again 7th of June. 7th of June. Okay, children? We'll move on to the next. So we have a project at the end of the lesson. Have a visit to the meteorological department in Baudaloka Mawatha, Colombo, or meteorological department in your area and observe the process of collecting data. So if you visited one of these places, you will realize that you will see that they have these different high-tech instruments to collect details. the data on different weather conditions. Right, children? Okay. Find the methods of collecting data on weather. Collect information and prepare a report. So after visiting these places, you can find more information. They will provide you leaflets on other information as well. So you can make your own booklet on weather and climate, right? Finally, prepare a booklet about the methods used by our ancestors, ancient people, to forecast weather. Very interesting, because they did not have any of those instruments nowadays we are using. How did they predict what would be the weather like? Most of the time, they used the behavior of animals, the way the animals behave just before it rains, likewise. Okay, children, most of the time they used the behavior of animals. We'll write that. So you have to find more information. So I'll give you a few tips, right? Using the behavior of animals, right? Some birds, even some mammals, some insects, the way they behave. What else, children? Sometimes they use the constellations. What is the meaning of constellations, children? You must have seen in the night sky there are different star patterns. So some of these star patterns are visible only during certain seasons, right? So when certain star patterns appeared, the ancestors, those ancient people, they knew that it's going to, like, this is the rainy seasons, this is the drought season, likewise. Okay, children? So using constellations. Or star patterns. Constellations or star patterns. Okay, children? So there are some other ways you can find more information. Ask your parents, you can read books, and you can even refer to the internet and find more and more information. Right, children? So we have completed the exercise given in the textbook. Now we are going to do some extra questions to understand the lesson better. Right. Additional exercise number 1. Underline the most suitable answer. So we have done so many these type of questions. Now we all know that when you underline the answers, only one answer is correct or most suitable, right? So you have to read all 4 answers very well and you have to find the most correct answer. Okay? We'll go through this. The rainfall is measured using. What is the instrument that we use to measure the rainfall? We even made one. It's the rain gauge, right? Barometer. What is a barometer, children? Now, we did not discuss about the barometer in the lesson, but barometer is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. You are going to learn about the barometer in the upper grades, okay? Right. So, barometer, rain gauge, hygrometer, thermometer, right? Hygrometer is used to measure the humidity. Thermometer is used to measure the temperature. So our answer is rain gauge. Number 2. Using the hygrometer, now we just discussed here, using the hygrometer we can measure the humidity or the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere, right? Using the hygrometer, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is measured, correct? But we are going to read the rest too. The direction of the wind is measured, that is using the wind vane, right? The speed of the wind is measured, that is using the anemometer. The atmospheric pressure is measured, I just explained here, that is using the barometer, right? So using the hygrometer, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is measured. Right, children? Number 3. A wind vane shows. What can we find out using the wind vane? The direction of the wind, okay? The direction of the wind, the speed of the wind by the anemometer. The temperature of the wind, the pressure of the wind, no, right? The direction of the wind is given by the wind vane. Number 4. Weather information measured by hygrometer, anemometer and wind vane respectively are. You have to find the answer where the answers given in order according to hygrometer, anemometer and wind vane, right? So weather information measured by number 1, hygrometer. So what is measured by the hygrometer? Humidity or the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere, right? So the first one should be the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere or humidity. Number 2, anemometer, the speed of the wind, okay? And the wind vane is used to measure the direction of the wind. Look at the first answer. The direction of the wind has come first. No. Right? Direction of the wind is for the wind vane. That should come last, right? As the third choice. The direction of the wind, the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, the speed of the wind. No. The amount of the atmosphere should come first. We'll find an answer with the amount of atmosphere first. Number 2, given the direction of the wind first. Third one gives the speed of the wind is measured first. Fourth one, now here we have the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. Second should be the speed of the wind. The speed of the wind, and the last should be the wind vane, the direction of the wind, right? This is the answer. Right, children? Number 5. When the pressure in some areas decreases compared to other areas of the atmosphere. Right now we learn this under natural disasters. When the air pressure highly decreases than the other areas, you all know that wind blows to that air depression area at very high speed. This is known as a cyclone. Okay? So tsunamis occur, droughts occur, cyclones occur, floods occur. Answer: cyclones. Number 6. The year in which a huge disaster occurred due to the occurrence of a tsunami in Sri Lanka. Now, here answers given: 1904, 1956, 2002, 2004. Some of you might not be aware of this incident because you were not even born in this time period, right? But remember, in 2004, Sri Lanka experienced a severe tsunami situation. About 40,000 of people died and lots of people lost their properties and their houses. Okay, children, so it highly affected Sri Lanka. It was in 2004. You can ask your parents about this. Okay? Right. Number 7. The prevailing atmospheric condition. Prevailing means remain in condition for a long time, right? The prevailing atmospheric condition in an area for a long time period. Now there we know that this is about climate. When it comes to long time period, that's about climate. Weather, climate, atmospheric conditions, environmental condition. The answer is climate. 8. An area with a very low average temperature is. An area with a very low average temperature is. Right? In different cities, basically the climate is different. Okay, so when you consider the 4 cities given, Anuradhapura, Nuwara, Colombo, Mannar, area with a very low average temperature, it's obviously Nuwara. It's a very cold area. Right. Number 9. An area that has been affected by frequent floods is. Right? Some areas in Sri Lanka frequently affected by flood. Trincomalee, Polonnaruwa, Ratnapura, Batticaloa. So out of these 4 areas, some of you might know this, Ratnapura frequently affected by floods. Okay? Ratnapura. Number 10. If a certain area gets less than blank of expected rainfall at a certain time period, a drought condition may occur in that area, right? So what is the answer? Suitable to fill in the blanks. We consider if a certain area doesn't get less than 75% of the expected rainfall, we call that condition a drought. Okay. So 10%, 40%, 50%, 75%. Answer number 4. Right? Next one. Not a disaster caused by bad weather. Not a disaster caused by bad weather, right? So the first one, floods. Floods caused because of bad weather. Landslides, cyclones, they all caused because of bad weather conditions. What about earthquakes? Earthquakes are not caused because of bad weather. Now you all are going to learn in grade 7 that earthquakes occur because of the movement of certain part of the earth. Now earth has different layers, and the earth is made up of something called tectonic plates. Now these plates move relative to each other, and because of the movement of different layers of the earth, earthquakes might occur. Right? Therefore, this is not occurred because of bad weather. Number 12. A landslide prone area. Landslides basically occurs in hilly areas. Let's see any hilly areas here. Galle, Polonnaruwa, Nuwara, Ampara. So out of these 4 areas, Nuwara is the hilly area. Okay, Nuwara is the answer. We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 2. The following statements are, if the following statements are correct, put a tick, and if wrong, put a cross within brackets, right? Rain with storms, huge sea waves, and thunderbolts occur due to cyclones. It's true, right? It's correct. The dry period that occurs due to the lack of rain is called a drought. Yes. If the expected rainfall is less than 75%, droughts occur. Okay. This is also correct. Landslides mostly occur in coastal areas. No, landslides mostly occur in hilly areas. Okay, this is not correct. The hygrometer is used to measure atmospheric pressure. Is this correct, children? What is hygrometer? Hygrometer is used to measure the humidity. What can be used to measure the atmospheric pressure? We did not discuss this in the lesson. But we can use the barometer to measure the atmospheric pressure, right? So hygrometer is not used for this purpose, okay? This is also wrong. 5. We can minimize the effects of natural disasters by being alert. It's correct, okay? Being alert, and sometimes there are some human activities we should stop doing. That's also there. Ancient kings built tanks to collect rainwater. Yes, because our country is agricultural country, so the kings had to make tanks to collect rainwater that is required for agriculture. Okay, that's correct. The wind vane shows the direction of the wind. That's also correct. The wind vane can be used to show the direction of the wind. And finally, the unit used to measure the rainfall is centimeter. No, it should be millimeters. Therefore, this is not correct. Right. Okay. We'll go from here. Rain with storms, huge sea waves, and the thunderbolts occur due to cyclones. Correct. The dry period that occurs due to the lack of rain is called a drought. Correct. Landslides mostly occur in coastal areas. Wrong. The hygrometer is used to measure the atmospheric pressure. Wrong. We can minimize the effects of natural disasters by being alert. Correct. Ancient kings built tanks to collect rainwater. That's also correct. The wind vane shows the direction of the wind. Correct. And the unit used to measure the rainfall is centimeters. Wrong. Moving to the next. Okay. Exercise number 3. We have to write the answers for these 3 questions. Is there a difference between the terms weather and climate? Yes, there is. Yes. If so, what is that difference? What is the difference, children? Now we discussed this many times. When it comes to weather, we discuss about the atmospheric conditions within a short time period. When it comes to climate, we consider about the prevailing weather conditions for a long time. Okay, let's write short form. We'll write weather. Atmospheric conditions during a short time. Climate prevailing weather conditions for a long time. For a long time. Okay? Weather, atmospheric conditions during a short time. Climate, prevailing weather conditions for a long time. Right? Write 3 factors that determine the weather. There are many factors we learned. Let's write them. Temperature, humidity, rainfall. Okay, children, we'll move on to the next exercise number 4. Fill in the blanks using the words given within brackets. What are the words? Direction, weather, Bay of Bengal, cyclones, atmospheric, 48 hours, humidity. Right? Let's go through this. Blank is another blank. Conditions at a specific place during a short time period. What is that definition for? That is for weather. So weather is, we have weather here. Weather is what conditions, children? Atmospheric conditions. We have atmosphere here. Weather, atmospheric. Atmospheric conditions at a specified place during a short time period. Okay? The blank and another blank of the wind are some factors that determine the weather. Here, of the wind that determines whether it can be speed of the wind or direction of the wind. Let's say whether speed of the wind is there. It's not there, but the direction of the wind is there. For this one, we can write direction of the wind. Another factor that determine weather. Direction, weather, cyclones, humidity we can write. Right? The humidity. Right. Some factors that determine the weather. The occurrence of blank is an instance where the wind becomes destructive. We learn about cyclones where the wind becomes destructive, right? Here we use these two cyclones. The occurrence of cyclones is an instance where the wind becomes destructive. These harmful conditions mostly originate in the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal. Then the meteorological department has the ability to warn about a cyclone within the only answer remaining 48 hours. 48 hours. Right. Okay, children? Weather is atmospheric conditions at a specified place during a short time period. The humidity and direction of the wind are some factors that determine the weather. The occurrence of cyclones is an instance where the wind becomes destructive, right? These harmful conditions mostly originate in the Bay of Bengal. The meteorological department has the ability to warn about a cyclone within 48 hours, right? Okay, we'll move to the next. Number 5. Name 2 natural disasters caused due to heavy rains. Now we discussed about cyclones, floods, landslides, droughts as well. Okay, so name 2 natural disasters caused due to heavy rains. We can write floods, landslides. Landslides and floods. Okay. The lack of rain is also a natural disaster. Write an action that can be taken to prevent that disaster. We learned that due to lack of rain, droughts occur. So write an action that can be taken to prevent that disaster. Do you remember? I explained y'all. Now, cutting down trees or deforestation disturbs the water cycle. If the water cycle gets disturbed, the occurrence of rain will minimize, right? So it will cause droughts. Therefore, we should not cut down trees. We should stop deforestation. Okay? So write an action that can be taken to prevent that disaster. Minimize cutting down trees. Cutting down trees, right? Minimize cutting down trees. Which regions suffer the most from the natural disaster mentioned in above 2? Now here, what is the natural disaster mentioned in number 2? That is droughts. So which regions? Do you remember? There are 4 regions in Sri Lanka according to the amount of rainfall they get. What are those 4 areas? Wet zone, intermediate zone, dry zone and arid zone. So I explained y'all, dry zone and arid zone suffer drought more than the other areas, okay? Which regions suffer the most from the natural disaster mentioned? From droughts, right? Dry zone and arid zone, which means very dry zone. Dry zone and arid zone, okay? Right. We'll move on to the next. Question number 6. An anemometer took 5 minutes to turn 100 rounds. Calculate the speed of the wind. Now you all remember we can use the anemometer to find the speed of the wind. We made one in the lab and we observed how it works, right? So do you remember what is the formula that we can use to find the speed of the wind, children? Let's write the formula first. Speed of the wind equals number of turns divided by the time taken. Right? Number of turns of the anemometer. So we'll substitute these values to this equation. Number of turns. An anemometer took 5 minutes. The time is 5 minutes to turn 100 rounds. Number of turns 100. Time taken 5 minutes. So 100 divided by 5, what is the answer? 20. So how to write the final answer, children? 20 turns per 1 minute, right? Or 20 turns per minute. 20 turns per minute. 20 turns per minute. Okay, speed of the wind equals number of turns divided by time taken, which means here 100 divided by 5 minutes. 20 turns per minute is the speed of the wind, right? Next one. Exercise number 7. Name the following instruments and write the function of each of them. Now we are very familiar with these instruments. Let's write. What is this one? The first one is the anemometer. Do you remember we made something like this with half a ball with 2 different colors, right? This is anemometer. So what is the function, children? Function is to measure the speed of the wind, right? To measure the speed of the wind. Okay? What is this, children? This is a rain gauge. Okay? So we made our own rain gauge as well. We'll write rain gauge to measure the rainfall, right? It is used to measure the rainfall. To measure the rainfall. Okay? Next one. What is this, children? This is called a wind vane. Why do we use this? To find the direction of the wind, right? Wind vane. To find the direction of the wind. Right? Okay. Look at number 4 and 5. Now this is a standard hygrometer. What is this? This is a simple hygrometer. We learned how to make this one as well. So what is the function of the standard hygrometer? We can measure the actual humidity. What about this one? Can we measure the actual humidity? No. We can just get an idea about the humidity of the atmosphere, whether it's low or high. Okay? Let's write. This is the standard hygrometer. Standard hygrometer to measure the humidity. This one, simple hygrometer. To measure, to get an idea about the humidity. Right, children? So, anemometer to measure the speed of the wind, rain gauge to measure the rainfall, the wind vane to find the direction of the wind, standard hygrometer to measure the humidity, the actual humidity, simple hygrometer to get an idea about the humidity. Right? We'll move on to the next. Right. Exercise number 8. A similar activity. Fill in the blanks in the passage using the diagrams given below. Right? So what is this, children? We all know now. This is the wind vane. Why do we use this? To find the direction of the wind. Okay? The instrument given above is called a wind vane. right? According to the above, the direction of the wind is, now here, look at to which direction the arrowhead is pointed. Now this is north. Now we all know that north, south, west and east. If this is north, this is south, this is east and this is west. So you all can see the arrowhead is pointed towards the east, which means the wind is blowing from east to west, right? From east to west. So according to the above, the direction of the wind is from east to west. East to west. Right, children? The instrument given above is called a wind vane. According to the above, the direction of the wind is from east to west. Right? Next one. Look at this. What is this instrument? Anemometer. This instrument is called an anemometer. Anemometer. Right? This is used to measure why do we use this? To measure the speed of the wind. This is used to measure the speed of the wind. If the wind is moving at a blank of 30, how to read this? Kilometers slash h means this is hour, right? 30 kilometers per hour. So if the wind is moving at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, when this instrument rotates 1 round per second, right? Which means we'll write here 1 round per second. Means the actual speed of the wind is 30 kilometers per hour, right? So, if the wind is moving at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, when this instrument rotates 1 round per second, then the wind speed will be, what would be the speed when it rotates 2 rounds per second? So, if 1 round per second equals 30, 2 rounds per second, you have to multiply this by 2. 30 into 2 means 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, it doubles the speed. Then the wind speed will be 60 kilometers per hour when it rotates 2 rounds per second, right? Next one. This instrument is called, what is this? Rain gauge. Rain gauge. This is used to measure the rainfall or the amount of rainfall. The amount of rainfall. Okay. So here this instrument is called an anemometer. This is used to measure the speed of the wind. If the wind is moving at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, when this instrument rotates 1 round per second, then the wind speed will be 60 kilometers per hour when it rotates 2 rounds per second, right? This instrument is called a rain gauge. This is used to measure the amount of rainfall, right? We'll move on to the next. Right, exercise number 9. Natural disasters occur due to climatic and weather changes. Lightning is one such disaster. Even though we did not discuss it in this lesson, you are going to learn about lightning also as a disaster in the other grades, okay? Apart from lightning, name 3 other natural disasters. We learn now. Cyclones, drought, floods. right? Number 2, write 2 things that should be done to minimize the effects of natural disasters. What are the things? To minimize the effects of natural disasters, what are the things that we have to do? Number 1, we have to control certain human activities, right? Like cutting down trees. And at the same time, we have to prepare for the disasters. Let's say that if we are living in the areas with droughts, that we have to expect droughts in the particular time period of the year, right? So then in that case, we have to collect water, and this is known as preparing or pre-preparation. So pre-preparation is very important. And at the same time, we have to listen to the announcements and the instructions given by the media too. We have to follow them, right? Let's write 2 things that should be done to minimize the effects of natural disasters. Pre-preparation. Pre-preparation. Next one. Listening to announcements and the instructions. Given by the media. Okay? Pre-preparation. Listening to the announcements and the instructions given by the media. Okay? So apart from this, you can write other examples as well. As I told you, all certain human activities towards the environment, which harms the environment, we have to minimize those activities. Right, children? Collecting rainwater, so that is coming under pre-preparation, right? So let's say that if you are living in the hilly areas, before a landslide, there will be certain signs. Okay, so if we identify those signs, now for example, we can see that some trees are slanted towards a slopey area. So this is a sign of that the landslide is going to happen, right? Or sometimes some different sounds also occur, right, children? So if you find these type of signs, you have to move away from the areas. Like those are also the examples that you can write. Okay? Next one. Among these disasters, what is the disaster that mainly occurs in mountainous areas, so hilly areas? That is specifically landslides. Okay, children? We'll move on to the next. So this is our last activity. Okay? Fill in the blanks of the following table using your knowledge of the instruments used to measure different weather conditions. Now I'm sure you all have done this right, because we discussed so many questions out of this part. Okay? This column measurement, this column apparatus. Okay? So first one, speed of wind. What is the apparatus used to measure the speed of wind? Now we know that is the anemometer. Anemometer. Number 2, here blank, wind vane is given. Why do we use the wind vane? What is the measurement that can be taken with the wind vane? The direction of the wind. The direction of the wind. Right. Number 3. Temperature of the environment is measured using the thermometer. Right, children? Next one, rainfall. What is the apparatus or the instrument used to measure this one? Rain gauge. Number 5, here blank, hygrometer. Hygrometer is used to measure the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere, right? We'll write what is the measurement that can be taken. Oh, the humidity. the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere. And finally, atmospheric pressure can be measured with, even though we did not do it in the lesson, I already explained you all during the exercise. Atmospheric pressure can be measured using the instrument called barometer. Barometer. Okay, children? Right. So the measurement, to measure the speed of wind, anemometer is used. To measure the direction of the wind vane is used. To measure the temperature of the environment, thermometer is used. To measure the rainfall, rain gauge is used. To measure the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, hygrometer is used. And to measure the atmospheric pressure, barometer is used. So we have completed the entire lesson, children. So we learn a lot about weather and climate, what are the factors affecting weather. We even decide some simple instruments to measure the factors affecting the weather conditions. Okay, children? So all these instruments you all can make at home very easily, and you all have to make them and check whether you can measure those atmospheric conditions too. And we completed our exercise. I hope you all have answered the exercise questions well. You can write the answers again and you can improve your knowledge by answering the questions again and again.